What's going on, everybody? This is Dawson with Discussion with Dawson. Now, instead of a regular discussion like I usually do with a topic and the discussion that follows, today I'm sharing an interview I did recently with 4playtonic. It's a two-part interview. Now, you already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now, if you are not feeling the content or not feeling the interview, feel free to drop a comment down below and tell me what you think would make the interview better or what should I have said better. Now, as always, don't forget to do better, be better, and stay better. And here's the interview. Peace.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Ready. All right. So, 4playtonic Live, where I talk with people who are in the sex community, no matter what they're doing. I don't care what their profession is. We all come together. So, Dr. Charles, auteur.
Thank you.
I saw your joint because I listened to Keke, homie of mine, and she mentioned it on her podcast. So I was like, all right, let me go check it out. And it's crazy because I just Kiki, I think she dropped the episode Monday, like Sunday, the day before. I was looking up can men be authors of erotic stories and stuff? Because when you think of erotic story, you think females, especially with the details that go on.
Yeah.
And so then when I saw you, I'm like, all right, let me go take a little gander at this joint. I'm reading, I'm like, okay, I'm like this. I'm like, let me have a nice little talk with this guy. Because, those who are familiar, I've been talking for a while. With 4playtonic, I want to do a lot of things from series to even books and stuff, literature. So I was like, let me go talk to this guy, see what, came on. So before we dive into the book and everything, let's talk about your origin, whether you want to keep it with yourself or just you as an author, just let everybody know who you are and everything.
So I'm Dr. Charles. I go by Dawson. It's my regular name. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and I moved out to Massachusetts a few years ago. I've been writing for a few years, actually. I haven't taken it serious because, nobody takes their side hobby seriously. They just do it, and then when people come across it, they're like, yo, this is really good. Like, you should really be on there, like, promoting books and stuff. I was like, nah, I'm good. I just, I like to flirt. I like to write stories, call it a day. But recently, a friend of mine was like, yo, no, this book is really good. Like, I really think you should really go in and, like, publish this because you're really good. And I was like, am I? So I sent it to a few people, and they were like, yo, this is good. Like, when are you selling? Like, when are you going to publish it? And I was like, I don't know. And finally, I got the confidence. I was like, screw it. Like, I was going through some family mess. I was like, screw it. Whatever happens, happens. Just get it out there. And it's been nothing but positive feedback. I'm a fan of old school erotica, like Zane, Eric, Hickey, and a few others, way before 50 Shades of Grey. And growing up on that, you're thrown into the world. You're like, oh, this is amazing. Like, how can I really look into this? And as an adult, you find out, you're like, oh, this is better than I thought it was. Yeah, that's how I came across. That's how I came across becoming an author.
Okay. So, like I said, I didn't know many. I read books and stuff, but I don't have like any erotic literature or anything. Like the closest I got is where is that? Robert Greene's Art of Seduction. That's like the closest and everything. That's like not really erotic. That's not erotic. Yeah, it's not erotic literature at all. That's just kind of like, telling about your seductive side and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, I know we grew up on Zane. Well, Zane is the only one I know, and that was more like, the girls are reading it, and I'd be like, yo, what are they reading? And it's like, oh shit, okay.
Out about it.
But like, what are you reading? Like, what's on your boom on your shelf?
Currently, I just finished a book that wasn't erotica. It's published by a Black author. Her name is Tracy Dion. It's called Legendborn. Really good book. It's science fiction. It's just a retelling of King Arthur's story, which is really good. I recently repurchased one of Zane's books called Purple Panties, and what was the other one? Missionary No More.
Okay. So those are all your things. So, do you use those like I said, erotic books are really man-made and everything. So where do you get your inspiration from?
Women. Women are online constantly talking about all the things they want, all the things they want done to them. And as a man, I notice a lot of guys don't pay attention. So, of course, I'd be like, let me just see how this goes. And I'll write something and they'd be like, oh, that sounds amazing. And I'll be like, okay. And then because I'm the go-to person for a lot of my friends for anything sexual. So they'd be like, yo, you got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. And I'm in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 10 years now. So I tried on my lady and she'll be like, yeah, this is great. Like, let's keep this going. And I'm like, right there.
So you come up with, you got this material, you're getting these references and everything. So then you decide, yeah, I'm gonna write this book. All right, A Taste of Lust. The title. Let's talk about it. What made you come with that title?
I wasn't heavily into the kink community for like until I was about 3 or 4 years ago. I met the cover artist. I didn't meet her. I'm cool with her. She's on Instagram. I can't remember her name right now. I'll probably send her it later. But she's heavily into the kink community. So we always go back and forth on ideas. And she had posted a picture of the cover that I used on the cover. And I was like, yo, this is dope. I would love to use this as a cover. And she was like, yeah, go ahead. You know, whenever you feel comfortable to release the book, let me know. And we were talking one day and she was like, she had mentioned how she got involved in her kink community. And she was like, yeah, I got a small taste of it, and I've been, like, in love with it. So originally the book was called A Taste of Love, but then as I shared it with a few more people, like they was like, nah, this makes me lusty. Like, this makes me mood. I want to get it. And I was like, A Taste of Lust. That sounds really good. And everybody's loved it. So that's how that came about.
So A Taste of Lust, boom, you come up with the name. Lust, I know it sounds weird. Lust sounds better than love. I'm not saying lust is better, but it sounds better than love. So that's definitely a good way to go. So, you know, the characters, like just regular people, you know, like come on, let's get to it.
A few of the characters are actually regular people I know, and I just switch up their names.
Okay.
Other characters are just people I built up in my head because I'm an overthinker. So I can like aim it to whatever I see fit at this point. And because I'm so sexual, anybody I meet, I automatically know what they're into, how they want it, and it's like already envisioned in my head. So I just be like, all right, it's pretty dope. This is it. Yep, yep. And then if I'm really close with the person, I'll be like, yo, do you mind if I use you as writing material? And they'll be like, nah, sure, go ahead. I ask them a few questions. I dig into their head a little deeper and realize how accurate I am off the initial thought of what they'd be into. And others, I'm just blown away by all the stuff they're into because innocent people are the very naughty people.
So, I mean, so you don't. In other words, you don't get no vanilla people. Then
Nah. So everybody seems vanilla on the outside. Sorry, everybody seems vanilla on the outside, but once you dig into other shit, you realize that people really do want to experiment, but they're so locked into being judged and everything that they just stick to what their comfort zone instead of stepping out of bounds.
I agree. I don't know if I'll say everybody's vanilla on the outside.
Well, not everybody, but you know, people like putting their information out there. They're very scared of social media.
Yeah, yeah, that's the biggest thing, especially in the black community, is like they're afraid of being judged. So
yes,
it's this even just talk like this is like they'll like probably read your book, but then they get like nervous, like damn, I'm really into this type of stuff. Like, yeah, you are.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy because we all come from sex. Sex is the reason why we're here. Like,
exactly, but nobody wants to talk about it.
like I don't understand that. That's crazy. So all right, so as I mentioned, I've had the idea of doing like literature and stuff for and with me, I have like these ideas and stuff, and when I like do like kind of like rough drafts and stuff, my personality kind of gets out, which is great, for everything. But then I know, like knowing me, I'm gonna throw a few like laughs in there.
Yeah.
So when I'm reading yours, and it's the part. Just a little spoiler. It's the part when they was like, she was cuffing my balls. She was licking while my dick was still in her throat,
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm praying and praising everything. Is like, even on my cheapest day, I would put $20 in the offering. Like that type of humor is like, well, to me it was funny. It was
Yeah,
funny,
a
and
lot.
it's like, was that intentional? Like, was that like intentional to put like a little humor in it, or that was just like you just going with it?
So I don't think, as much as I love erotica, I don't think just sex sells. It's got to be sprinkled in with some comedy, some emotion. It's got to go back and forth. So of course, humor is great, and I was raised in the church. My
Mm.
mother still goes back and forth in it, and she also got the book. That's a story I'm gonna tell you later, though. So growing up in the church, you'd be like, I'm not. As a kid, you're like, I'm not putting my money in there. Like, it's my money. Like, I've earned this money. And then I was sitting there like, yo, this is great. This would be funny to mention in the book, and as well as a few other things. And when people read it, they're like, yo, I've never thought of that, but that's really funny and great. I'm like, thank you. So I was like, yeah, let's keep that in there.
Yeah, I was like, yo, because that's how it is with me. Like, I know, especially metaphorically, it's definitely gonna get like laughs. I'm like, can I even put this? Because I'm trying to think. Like, if I'm like erotic movie, you might get like the little laughing, but a book is a little different.
Yeah.
So I always that's kind of one of the things I'm kind of like hesitant on when writing it. But so with your material, you got your people and everything. Obviously, with these stories, you got to get graphical and everything.
Yeah.
Um, these people experiences, or they're like all your imagination? Because using somebody experience is kind of different.
I used somebody's experience in one of the stories. Um, it was a podcast I was listening to, and I can't remember her name for the life of me right now. Oh, actually, Sacred Genie. She has a podcast, and she was talking about one day. Yeah, she was talking about how one day she was hyped and ready for dude to come over, and he didn't show up. And I was like, that's crazy. And I was like, let me see if I could work that into a story. And I did. A few other things have just been off the top of the head, like fantasies I've heard from people talking about and they want to do, but they're too scared to do. Um, and then I'm a guy, so I've watched tons of porn and I'm deep into like all that shit. So it's like, it's there. So you just tap on it and see how people react. And it's like, oh, perfect. This is it right here.
You ever was like writing or typing something and you thought like, damn, I'm really a freaky dude.
Yeah.
like holy shit. Like
Before I released the book, I was sitting there and I reread it. I was like, yo, I'm really a nasty motherfucker. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with this. All right.
and you say you married 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You ever wrote something and thought like, yo, I need to try this because you get it from other things?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. All right. So it's safe to say everything in your book you have done personally.
Almost everything except the anal. Me and my lady are very like, we like the idea, but it's like,
Yeah, I haven't done anything yet neither. Women are really pushing that though. That's the weird part about it. I would think they would be the one. See, me, my mind goes just like, shit and everything. Even though, like, I mean, every body part has some type of fluid.
yeah.
I'm because I'm not into shit play, so that's thing. But I don't know. Maybe one day, I mean, I do know that there's like a method, like in porn, they clean their ass out and everything like that. But I mean, on the regular, you're not really like. I mean, you're married, so you could probably get that off. But then it's like I think even Kiki mentioned it's like a whole thing about it. Like you can't just like go in and
Yeah. And so a friend of mine is really into it, and she told me like multiple steps, and I was like, so dudes really be out here just trying to stuff it in there and not worried about it? She was like, yeah, and they get upset. I was like, wow. She's like, if you warn me ahead of time, I can prepare and we'd be good. But do your research. It's crazy. I'm also a father, so after you've been shit on 2 or 3 times, you're like, this ain't that.
Yeah, I'm an uncle, so yeah, I've been down that road. Like, like I just not into like shit playing nothing like that. So You said you're into, you just got into kink BDSM life. I hate that I keep saying it like that, kink BDSM. Kink, let's just put kink life, whatever.
Okay.
You said 3 or 4 years ago. So, what type of kinks and stuff are you into?
Of course, there's the rough stuff. It's the spanking, the choking, rope play. I'm also into public displays and narotophilia, like Kiki said, and humiliation. That's just a few of them, just off the top of my head.
And you definitely put those in your book. I remember seeing those. Yeah, I definitely see those. Yeah. You ever went to play parties or anything?
I have not, and I am annoyed because I'm a part of the Hard or Soft podcast community, and they're throwing one at the end of this month, and it falls on my son's birthday, so it's like, fuck, I can't do it. But
Yeah,
I thought about it.
yeah, because as you was explaining, I'm like, the Pandora and everything, and I'm like, this is pretty much like, well, some play parties are
Yeah.
operate and everything. I'm like, sound like he had that experience, like, yeah. So
All from what people have told me, and like when they share their experience, because a lot of people go to them and they don't say it, but because in my circle I'm the one that everybody's comfortable with, they're like, yo, I went to here, you got to go try this, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And then you got to run it by your woman. And it's like, how does this work?
yeah,
Thankfully, he's very open minded, so one day we'll take that leap together.
do you think it's I don't want to say like a pressure thing, but like you think the hesitation is getting like I don't want to say getting to her, but like cause you saying one day y'all gonna get into it, but I'm sure she knows like you want to do this, or do you really want to do it, or is it something
So
like, let me just try out?
it took me a while to get comfortable with myself before
Mm.
anything. So I'm very open to the idea. I'm very into voyeurism, so I go and watch, and then when I feel comfortable, I do it. She's pretty much the same way. So she knows I want to do it, but I don't want to pressure her into like pulling her into that world and being like, yo, let's go. And she's like, nah, I'm not. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Like, you don't want to force nobody to do something they're not comfortable with. It's always better when, you're both eased into it and take the proper steps. But yeah, it's my comfort level. I do want to do it, but I'm not as comfortable with myself as I feel I should be with my body, and I'm working on that. So one day,
You mean as in like weight or?
wait, and yeah, just wait, pretty much, because I had a conversation the other day with a friend, and she was like, "Oh, I'm fat," and I was like, "If you look down, do you see your chest or your stomach?" And she looked down. She was like, "I see my chest." I was like, "You're not fat then." She was like, "Well, how do you know you fat?" And I was like, "When I look down, it's there, but it's not all there." So I'm like, "This ain't coming. I don't want it to. Let me lift your stomach up and get to it. Nah, I don't want that."
Ah. So I mean, with going to these like play parties that you want to go to, like what sexual fantasies do you want to act out with you and your lady?
Uh, Definitely a spanking scene. I love spanking and the choking scene. Those are my like top kinks up there. There's also just the stranger, the person you don't know, when you meet and you lock eyes, and it's like that chemistry right off the back, and you just jump into it. Little conversation, and bam, we're here.
So would it be a open thing, or would it
It'd
you?
definitely be an open thing. If she wanted to do it, I'm okay with whatever she wants to do. If she'd allow me to do it, I'd do it.
I like that. I like that partnership. And that. I mean, have y'all talked about it prior to you
Yeah,
say?
we have. She originally she wasn't with the shits, and now she's like, it doesn't sound so bad now. Like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm with all the shits. Like, what up?
Ah. And you mentioned spanking earlier. Is that you doing the spanking, or you getting spanked, or either or?
Either or, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, because I got spanked. I went to Mistress Marley and Goddess Rules.
Oh, I heard it was crazy.
Yeah, I went to the grand opening. I got spanked by Goddess Rube and some other people. That was my first time ever. Like, it's cool. It's not. I wouldn't rule it out. I definitely. I would do it again. Get spanked. I never spank because there's like a whole art to it. It's not just
It
you.
is.
Boom, boom. Because it was a time where a girl in there, she wanted to try it out, and I just let her, do it, and she was just going all wrong. Like I had whelps
Yeah.
on my ass. I'm like, this is wild. But yeah, I go to like play parties. I've been to see my first experience was swinging parties. So
Mm.
just when I didn't even know like they had like a whole community and stuff. Being black is definitely difficult, especially for me being single and black. And so I'm glad now we have more spaces and stuff. So that's definitely a good thing. Like I'll say it's easier, but it's still difficult. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's all that. But I asked you all this because, like I said, you're an author, you're doing this book and stuff. So I feel like if you go to these places, you'll get more like material, more.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to go to one, hopefully before the year is up. But being a parent and working, you have to like work all these in. Like, let's make it work. But damn, like this is gonna be tough. So hopefully I can work it. I can work it into the end of the year.
um, uh, Apollonia, he's married. She asked if you looking for a date.
Thank you. I'm not. My girl's open to the idea. I'd run that by her, but right now, currently, I'm good with just us.
Ah, that would be cool. That'd be good. It's funny. Last week had a lot. We was talking about poly relationships and everything. Is that something you guys have ever thought about?
She's not with that. Again, I'm open to the idea, but I don't. I've done the open relationship before, and it's gone good before it went horribly wrong. So I know both the good and the bad of it. Um, it's a lot of communication that people don't realize, and we have that communication, but it's still more communication before we even attempt to make that leap.
Nice. Right. Okay. At least you tried it. See, I mean, you. It's good that you're open because, like, you got so much material, and I mean, I don't know how. Like, I mean, I read, stuff, and I don't know how far. Um, I don't know how far your creativity go, but I mean, like, as long as you get that material, like, you can get like, because I mean, It was A Taste of Lust. That's your first book, right?
Yeah, I'm working on the second one now.
That's what I'm saying. So, is it going to follow the same role as A Taste of Lust, or you go in a different direction?
I'm working on I'm working on two books at the same time. One is another short story book with just a short story eroticas for every chapter, and one follows a lady as she journeys from the vanilla lifestyle into other different lifestyles. So when I get writer's block for one, I switch to the other one, and then when I get stuck on this one, I go back to the other one. So whichever one finishes first, that's what's going to be.
I like that. Okay, which first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Nah, that's good because, like, I mean, I'm sure you're gonna let Taste of Lust get his run first.
Oh yeah.
Let it go. So how you been loving the feedback you've been getting so far?
It's so when I first released the book, I was like, oh, it's only gonna be the people who really mess with me who gonna buy the book. And one day I was at work. I work at the airport. I'm TSA. And I was in the break room with people, and they always see me with the laptop. They go, "What you doing?" I was like, I'm working on a book." And one of the girls was like, "Can I read the book?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Me thinking she's going to read the book just to herself, I was like, "Oh, yeah, fine." She starts reading it out loud. And immediately, I feel like my chest is like, "What's going on?" And everybody in the break room was like, "Oh, that's wild." They laughing. And then, like, 30 seconds into the reading, everybody's like, "Yo, this sounds really good." And I was like, "Y'all serious?" They was like, "Yeah, like when it's done, like let me know." And when I published it, a few people was like, "Yo, what's the link?" And as I published it, before I brought my first copy, somebody had already ordered theirs because she was like, "Oh, it's ready? Cool, order now." And I
Mm.
was, "Wow, that's love." And when she got it, she came to work. She was like, "Can you sign it for me?" And I was like,
Ah,
Word?" She was like, "Yeah, I want the signature and everything." And it's transitioning from just your regular day to day to like making a hobby a thing. The love you get from that, it's very warming. You get that warm and fuzzy feeling, like you're like, yo, this is really a thing. Like people really support me, and so far it's been amazing.
nice. And how long it took you to finish this book?
uh if one consistently worked on, a little more than 4 months.
Okay. Because I
So
know.
I've had the material, and so when I was writing, I was just sending material out. And funniest story is when somebody sent me a story back, and it was like, "Yo, somebody's published this under a different name," and I was like, "Word." I was like, "Bet." So now anything I send out is now in confidential mode, and you got to sign like an NDA.
Nice.
Um, so when it came back to me, I was like, "You know what? Don't worry about that. It's good." But when I read it, I was like, I see all my mistakes in that story, so I know it's mine. But I was like, you know what? Get your shine, whatever. You never gonna get this again. So now I'm just like very cautious. And since I'm a fan of the KinkswithKeke podcast and I love listening to her, I was like, let me just get some feedback from her. And I sent it to her, and she's busy as shit. So I wasn't expecting anything from it until one day I hit up. I was like, yo, are you enjoying the book? She's like, oh my God, I love it. I'm just super busy. I was like, I went to sleep and I woke up, and recently she was like, oh, check this out. My episode, and featuring A Taste of Lust. I was like, word? Like I wasn't expecting anything from it, and she put it up there. I was like, oh, cool. And then I seen you had posted the recommendation. I was like, wow, like that's
Yeah, because when she talked about it, I was like, all right, let me go look, let me go read it up. Boom, I got the Kindle version. I'm at work, it's slow day at work, so I'm like, let me just look through it, reading it. And like I said before, I'm like, yo, because I got like so many ideas and materials for a book, but it's like, I do my Googles and everything, but then it's like, it stopped me like, dang, can a man write? So when I saw you did, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
we definitely do it. One of my managers had discovered the book, and she was like, I didn't know men felt this way. I was like, if you feel like it, we definitely feel like it. So it's
you
a
know,
thing.
the biggest trip for me thinking like, can a man do is like describing like what the women do. And I know it's like, we love it, but it's like, well, at least I know mama, I'm going to go deeper and deeper. So with me, like I said, I'm a freak nasty dude. I'm going to be going to detail. So it's like, dang, can I say this as a man? Like,
Yeah. Yo. So
like